I spent $2 on free gift card money to see this, and I still want a refund. So yeah, I saw 2025's live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch, and yeah, it wasn't good. If you haven't seen this 20-year-old series before, the story is about Experiment 626, a genetic experiment made by Dr. Jumbo Jukiba, who escapes from exile and crash lands on Hawaii and meets a young girl named Lilo, and giving him the name Stitch. What's really fascinating about this movie series is it's one of the only successful sci-fi series Disney has ever made, until they bought Star Wars and made it worse. Joking aside, I should probably explain why I did not like the remake. But before that, I guess I should say some of the things I actually liked in this movie. For one, I did like that some of the original cast did return for the live-action adaptation, and they even brought back the original choir team that made some of the music for the film. Not the same choir kids, but you get what I mean. And Stitch and Lilo, I think, were not badly adapted, with Chris Anders, the writer of Lilo and Stitch, returning to play Stitch, though not help write the movie, unfortunately. And no joke when I say this, the young actor who plays Lilo can sometimes actually sound just like the original. And the only other thing I actually liked about this film actually is not from the film itself, it comes from the advertising, as some of the advertisements have some of the Disney remakes and Stitch ruining them, even though everything about those remakes were already ruined by Disney. And plus, some of the comedic stuff they actually do, like the Super Bowl, and even Stitch popping out of popcorn buckets at some theaters, was actually pretty funny and felt very Stitch-like. But other than that, the rest of the movie is just bad. As much as I did like Stitch in the movie, unfortunately the moments with Lilo and Stitch, more specifically the emotional moments like the ugly duckling and Stitch realizing that he messed up, aren't as impactful as they were in the original. In fact, the ugly duckling scene is just flat out removed in this movie, as well as the scene where Stitch is just sadly saying, "I'm lost." The beginning of the movie was also incredibly rushed, as the opening scene was cut drastically down to like roughly 3 to 5 minutes from its original runtime, even though the movie is 30 minutes longer than the original. And I think that mostly has to do with the fact that the movie spends time on things that are not really necessary for the plot, and also cuts out some very important scenes. The writer said they tried to get some of the original stuff into the remake, but of course corporate Disney probably got in the way of that. You kind of fail as a remake if you can't even get the sandwich right that was used in the original. I should also mention this from my Stitch anime video that some people have actually commented I didn't really talk much about Gantu, as he was one of the poorly written parts of the adaptation. And yeah, they could have handled Gantu better in the anime, but hey, at least they didn't write him out of the series entirely, unlike Disney's live-action remake did. But if you generally want to know what I think are the worst parts of this movie, it's two things: how they handled Nani and Jumbo Jukiba. Nani isn't a bad character, she's doing her best, but how they treated Ohana in specific scenes is a big old slap in the face to the original fans. With Nani trying to do everything in her power to keep Lilo from being taken away by child services, not really having a big impact compared to the original, a lot of the key emotional moments of the movie are kind of ruined by adding two original characters. Ironically enough, the characters that were in the original movie. The social worker who played Nani in the original, and the one who works at a farmer's market, who's now the neighbor in this film. But if you generally want the worst part of the movie, it's definitely gotta be Jumba, a character they royally ruined by making him the main antagonist of the film. Sure, he says he's an evil genius, but Jumba's more like Dr. Doofenshmirtz, not Dr. Doom levels of evil. And how the original handled Jumba was he was excited to see that his creation was a monster of pure destruction, but he was also surprised to see that Stitch actually could grow a heart and accepted him for who he was. And that could be actually shown in the other adaptations of the series, more specifically the TV show and a straight-to-video short. But as I'm recording this video, the movie was one of the cheapest Disney live-action remakes, only being made with $100 million, and it's already on the verge of making almost $400 million. And people actually are giving it positive reviews.
What is wrong with you people?
And if you want honestly the good reason why that's happening, well, that's mostly because this was the only kids film to actually watch during Memorial Day weekend. One of the busiest weekends for the theater industry, especially for kids. Unless you wanted to watch Minecraft on the big screen for a third time in a row. And I've heard it's miserable being in those theaters. In short, Lilo and Stitch, the live-action remake, is another bad live-action remake by Disney. A handmade surfboard made by someone who really loved their craft, only for it to be perfectly ruined by an industrial sander getting rid of all the best parts and traits of that surfboard. And if this video has taught you anything, just watch the original And also, stop being hateful on the anime adaptation, because as of now, it is not the worst adaptation of Lilo and Stitch. But other than that, this is AngelStar, signing out from Star Jettison.